Good afternoon, this is Colton from Shoutout here at NostalgiaCon of 2026. Right here, we got Skylar. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Nice talking to you.
Hey, nice talking to you. Hey, we're actually trying to help some of the newer folks here, the beginners of going to voice acting and also singing.
Yeah.
And we were hoping we could get some feedback for you, is that right?
Absolutely, I'm here.
Fantastic. One of the things I see is the health routines, right?
Yeah.
That's very, very important in one's life, especially when they're going to proceed in this type of career. We're hoping if you have any types of tics or maybe a quick rundown of what you kind of do for your health routine.
Yeah, so honestly, I know it sounds pretty basic, but hydration is kind of key, especially like the night before something big. So especially if I have to sing in the morning, I'll definitely wake up and pound water, but it's kind of important to not eat too late because kind of like acid reflux is a thing. And you know, when you kind of wake up in the morning, you kind of got a bunch of stuff on your cords and you're like, gosh, I just like hate that feeling. And you have to kind of overcome that. So I feel like a way to prevent that is kind of the day before, not eating things too acidic, drinking water, and just, it's like kind of the basic necessities apply to singing and voiceover work for me.
Oh, okay, excellent. Well, thank you so much for that. And if you had to deal with some challenges, I'm sure, in your career, like for an example, some people have a hard time of the overwhelming or over breathing or, you know, different types of sounds and things like that. Right. What are some of the things you recommend to kind of help overcome that?
Well, I mean, there's certain like tricks, you know what I mean? Sometimes when you want to actually do efforts or breaths like that, just making yourself out of breath kind of is helpful, you know, just like running in place really quickly and kind of like feeling into that moment, then to be able to kind of recreate it more easily. You know, it's like, it sounds a little obvious, but using your imagination is very helpful. Like rather than trying to chase the sound and what it legitimately sounds like, just like use that feeling of what it feels like to bite into a burger, and you will actually then, because it's like, wait, how do I sound when I do that? And honestly, like putting yourself in that place is very helpful for me, rather than trying to just like chase what's on the page. And then when you kind of like marry those two concepts, you know, obviously what's on the page and like what you do in your own personal life and bringing that to the material, I think is like really instrumental and really important when doing voiceover work.
Well, thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
One of the things I actually see, especially in your field of work, is the characters, right?
Yeah.
You're playing the different roles, the different projects and contracts that you have to kind of go through. How do you try to prep yourself and kind of get ready to like get into that character? And then what do you do if you're doing multiple characters where you have to kind of jump to the other one?
I mean, honestly, that's like some of my favorite stuff to do, especially when I'm like on a show where I'm playing one character for many episodes, and then they'll chuck me another character because they're like, hey, we thought you'd be good at this. I don't know, it's kind of like finding it with the director if you're lucky enough to be like working on something. Kind of asking what they're going for, general ideas, if there's any like comparisons to like other characters or actors or sounds. I know I like did one not too long ago. They're like, we want this to get like a kind of a Matthew McConaughey vibe. So I'm sure everyone knows what that kind of means. So I think that, and then just like as far as preparation is concerned, you know, like a little vocal warm up. I use a straw and I like blow like into like liquid and kind of like hum. Okay. Like it's like a very soothing thing for the voice.
That's very interesting.
F's to V's, like so you like get kind of like that like support, so you can kind of like exert a lot at once and you're not like gasping for air. I have like a couple little, you know, tricks that I've learned over the years. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. And one of the things I feel that's a lot of people that we're getting feedback from is a studio, right? When you're trying to do at home, you're starting out, you're trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to start in towards this career? I got to figure out, you know, I might be budget, that I have to stay within that budget to get those equipment. What are some of your tips about that? Like, would you stick with trying to build from scratch a studio at home? Would you try to do a different approach? Like, what do you do in regard to the studio?
Well, I feel like if you're just getting into this, I feel like the exploration is kind of like the best part. So, you know, it's a bit of an investment, but, you know, there's some mics out there for like $100, you know, and you could put a sheet over your head or get one of those little foam cubes around it if you want, and and plug it into your laptop. You could just use the software that GarageBand has, that just comes with it, and then just from there, kind of like have fun, just like explore, come up with new characters, and kind of like make it a hobby until you have to make it a career.
Okay. Okay. I like that. That's such a great feedback with that. What point do you think that you're ready for an agency?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I mean, because I don't even know how you'd go about kind of like, I just feel like you can't get too ahead of yourself with that kind of stuff, Turning it into a business is definitely one thing, but I think just finding the art and like finding the creation and the exploration and just like, I think that is first and foremost, and maybe the more you do it, the more connections you make, and then you'll kind of know when you're ready for that.
Okay, excellent, thank you. And if you had to summarize everything, just like maybe 3 key points of what you think would help anyone to start, what are some of those key points you want to share with us with your wisdom?
I think just imagination, fearlessness, and the ability to just open up and breathe into the moment that you're, creating through your voice.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Skylar. I really do appreciate this great opportunity. And that's going to be shout out for today. Thank you so much. Have a good day.